mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, let it shine.
Hello everybody, welcome to day number 3. I am just so grateful and excited for how many of you have been interacting and participating and showing up for yourselves here in the challenge. Like, it just makes my heart so happy to know that all of the hard work and love that I've put into this for all of you has been worth it, because you're doing the work. You're showing up. I've seen your comments. I've seen you supporting your new friends. I've seen you interacting and sharing things that are really deep and personal. Some of you have your whole family here, and that is great, because it's such an important thing to understand how your family and friends can function, communicate, how they work together, and you learn so much about them when you know what it is they're afraid of, what it is they are guilty or ashamed of, and how you can help support them in that time of need and growth. And it's just so beautiful that we can hold this space in the internet and wherever you are, whenever you are listening. It's so crazy that I'm like talking to a phone and a computer, and you guys are listening to me somewhere out there being awesome and just giving yourself some great time to focus on you. How many times do you really focus on you? Many of us do not give each other that time and space to really focus on ourselves. And so often when we do, we feel guilt and shame for doing it and not focusing on other people or other things that are supposedly more important than us. But if you can't focus on yourself and release any shame or guilt that you have for giving yourself that time, you're not going to be able to serve anybody else any better than they can themselves. So, that being said, let's move on to the third chakra today. The solar plexus can be found right in the center of your belly. You know that place where you get butterflies in the pit of your stomach? You just feel that tension in your stomach sometimes. And sometimes it just feels great. It's like joyful and bubbly and excited, and like that's fine. But a lot of times we notice it more when it's tense and like just frustrating to understand why we're even feeling that way in the pit of our stomach. So that's the solar plexus. It's also known as the water chakra. In some histories, they do consider it the fire chakra, and they switch the sacral and solar. To me, this feels like the one that is the water, because I relate it to water and how we flow with our emotions. Our emotions are a stream, and when they get blocked, or there's a rock, or there's something in a stream, it starts to overflow. Just like our emotions do when we don't allow ourselves to fully feel through a situation or something that we've done or had done to us. So, that explains what we're going to talk about today. The solar plexus is governed by shame. When we work with the solar plexus chakra, in really any chakra, it's important to see energy as that stream of flowing water. You want to make sure that your stream has nothing keeping it from flowing into this big lake that is the existence of your body. A nice, just, the population is going right, the water is flowing, emotions are understood. You want to be a nice, beautiful, great ecosystem in yourself, your emotional ecosystem. So that being said, this is what happens when our energy gets blocked. The solar plexus chakra deals with our connection to our family members and others that we communicate with. So basically relationships. It's where we hold our feelings towards other people in connection with our heart chakra. So these are the solar plexus is more the emotion, where the heart is more of like that deep love and connection. So this goes especially strong for our children because they're part of us. Especially us as females, they're literally created in our solar plexus and sacral chakras, basically. So that's why you feel that tension in your womb when you have a child or someone you deeply care about, and you can just intuitively feel when they're hurt, when they're sick, when there's something wrong. My brother and I have a very deep connection where I know if he's upset. I can usually send him a message and there's something going on. It's just this deep interconnection we have with people that are very sacred to us. That's all felt through the solar plexus and the heart chakras. So, those of us that are empathic are likely to have a harder time keeping this chakra in balance. Because we feel others' feelings so deeply and so easily, we often let that feeling take over our own emotions, and we also start to assume they feel the same way we would in a situation. And that's not always the case. Just because we're empathetic and sympathetic and we relate to what they're going through, it doesn't mean that they're feeling the exact same way. By allowing this imbalance of emotions of others to attack us energetically, it can begin to affect us physically. Imbalances in this area could cause ulcers, sensitive stomach, digestive issues, anything connected with your gut. If you have a feeling that there's something physically going on in there, I suggest that you take a look at your solar plexus as well as get checked by a doctor. But think about, what are some things that you feel ashamed of? What are some things that make you feel guilty and shameful? I know we talked about guilt yesterday, and shame may seem very similar, but it's a little different. Personally, I had struggled for a while with how I had acted as a teenager in my life. I dealt with a lot of loss growing up, and I didn't really process my grief properly. So sometimes I was lashing out at family and friends, and they didn't quite understand how to handle me or how to properly serve me in my community, which is part of why I do what I do here for all of you. I've went through many traumatic experiences in my life. I've worked with people who have had even worse experiences than me, even though it's not a challenge. I don't try to say that I completely understand somebody's situation, but I can empathize and I can connect with people on a deeper level, because in general, no matter how they're feeling, I know that I felt really terrible when I was ashamed and guilty and just not understanding how to process my emotions properly, and I don't ever want anyone to feel that way. And I think if we could all come through from a heart space of that, of not wanting others to ever feel how we do when we felt our worst, when we felt our scaredest, when we felt our most ashamed or guilty, and if we hold space for others so that they never have to feel that pain, think of all the love that would be in the world. Think about what we could accomplish as a community if we held space for each other, and instead of making fun of each other, instead of being hard on ourselves and judging ourselves and others and our kids and our parents and our friends, if we quit holding that judgment, we wouldn't feel that shame in ourselves. Because oftentimes that we feel this shame is because we've done something in a retaliation, and it's something that we would be ashamed or hurt from if somebody did that to us. So then we feel guilty. We feel shameful. So again, going back to my story of when I was a teenager, I used to yell and throw fits, and I was not very nice to some of my family, and I'm ashamed of that. And it's something I still process through. And I'm fully aware of the understanding that I was not processing the emotions I had. I didn't have people to talk to. I didn't have a community like we have here to hold space for each other. Before the internet was really that big. I know that seems crazy because I'm decently young, but the internet didn't used to be the same social network that it is now. I didn't have a space that I could meet here, no matter where the time was, and share this, that got it off my chest and held space for you to get it off your chest as well. We're in a different world. So, that being said, when I had those times of lashing out, I was mean to my family and friends. What it did was it also gave me time to learn how to process my grief, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But more so than that, I've had to work through the moments I'm ashamed of and to remind myself that it was part of a growing process. There's growing pains. And through that process, I not only taught myself new ways of dealing with things through not wanting to feel that guilt again, I also taught others how they didn't want to be treated and hopefully how they would not treat others through my actions. And even though they were immature, I likely taught them things that they needed to know. And that's something I've been helping a lot of my friends realize when they go through breakups, or if they lose a job, or if they can't get along with a family member. There's probably a reason. You're teaching somebody else how to treat you, but you're also teaching yourself how to accept that you can't control others all the time. You can't control how they respond. But what you can control is how you react. We'll talk about that in a second. But part of it is about forgiving yourself. When we can forgive ourselves for the things that we feel shame in and accept that they are a part of who we are, then we are able to move forward and release these blockages as well. Maybe you feel shame in who you are as a person. Yesterday we talked about sexuality a lot. Maybe you feel some shame there, or some guilt, or it's still kind of uncomfortable. That's okay. It's a process. Maybe you're not where you'd like to be in this life at this point. Maybe you thought you'd have a lot more money, or a fancy house, or who knows what you thought. But you're just not quite there yet, and you're feeling a little guilt and shame by it. Remember that it's all part of the journey. If you were there already, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the the feeling of being there once you're there. It would just be like it was already always a thing. You have to build that appreciation and build that ability to be humble. So that's probably why you're not where you want to be just yet. You haven't been able to go through that process. So you're here now to focus on it, to get more humble, to release the shame and guilt, and remind yourself that you are meant to be a shining light. I've posted several times a quote by Marianne Williamson that says, "Who are you not to be awesome?" Release the guilt, release the shame, release the fear, and step into your power. It's time to really feel that empowerment. Again, maybe somebody really hurt you, or maybe someone has helped program you to be ashamed of something. You know, your family member or that person or friend that's always like, "Oh, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too loud," whatever. You should never feel shame for things that you really can't control in the first place. But in the same sense, you should be proud of who you are, and if not, make a change to be the person that you can be proud of. And say goodbye to that narcissistic friend or family member that thinks that it's okay to put you down and program you to think badly about yourself, rather than build you up and help you find ways to really just be the best version of you. So, that being said, whatever it is, I want you to take a moment and really look that shame in the face and say, "No more." I want you to say this with me too. I am proud of who I am. I'm striving to be the best person that I can be. Let's say that again with me, wherever you are, whenever you're listening. I am proud of who I am. And if not, I will take action to be somebody that I can be proud of. I will make the change. I am proud of who I am. I will take action to be the person that I can be proud of. I want you to really feel that and to take that in during the meditation and through your journal practice today. When you make that vow to yourself, you're taking steps to be that person. You're telling the universe to give you opportunities to change your own perspective of who you are and to claim the personal power. No matter what has happened up until this point, you are giving yourself permission from the universe to let that past shameful whateverness go and be the best you that you can be. And if you can't give yourself permission, I'm giving you permission from the universe to let that go. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family and your friends and the people that you care about to be that person. And if they can't accept who you are when you're being the person that you are proud of, then maybe there's a reason they shouldn't be in your life. This is important for you. You're here for a reason. The universe has put you here. You're on day 3. You're showing up. Release the shame. Now that I channeled all that for us, I want to also talk about empathy again. Feeling everyone's emotion is a lot. It's one thing to be sympathetic, but most of us are empathetic. More empathetic than we think, and it's what it means is that the people we surround ourselves with, usually the top 5 have the biggest effect. But their emotions, whoever it is, whether you're working, you might be in the retail industry and you deal with customers all day, those people still affect you. Their energy can be heavy, especially if they're not in alignment with what you do and what your mission is for life, and you're just kind of doing the job. Try to not let their emotions attack you. Begin to put a bubble around yourself for protection, because when we're empathetic, even if we don't know a person, sometimes we begin to overanalyze and assume we know what everyone else is feeling. Again, and we think they would feel how we would in their situation. Sometimes people don't think like that at all. They don't think about being in the other person's shoes. They're very one focused. They think about themselves in the now. But empathetic people, they think they understand, and sometimes they do. Many of us do have this heightened sense of awareness of what somebody's feeling or going through. I know I can tell, again, when certain people are upset, but we have to hold space for them, not judge them, and not allow them to drain our energy and feed off of our energy. Some people we can step away from, and others we can't. You know, like the crazy girl you work with that doesn't understand her boundaries, that stepmother or that in-law that just doesn't ever leave you alone and wants you to be this perfect extra child for them that you're just not meant to be. Or, you know, a boss that expects you to go like above and beyond but doesn't give you the time of day to acknowledge your hard work, or that pay raise that you've been waiting on. Like, I get it. We can't always choose who we surround ourselves with, but we can choose how we react to it. And our solar plexus feels these reactions and our lack of boundaries. And boundaries are so important. It goes back to that bubble of protection. Remember that we teach others how to treat us and love us, which I'll talk about more tomorrow because this video is getting a little lengthy and I want to try to keep them short and tolerable so that you can do them every day. So for now, get your journals out. I have your mission for the day, and I hope that you've all been doing your homework and date it. Put a little date on it so you can see how far you've grown when the time comes to really review your progress. So I want you to write down today, your journal topic of the day is to write down 5 things that you felt ashamed for. I want you to really think on these things, deep things that you think cause a reaction in you and how you treat and respond to others in situations. So, what have you not allowed yourself to do because of these things? Maybe because you were ashamed of the outcome, or who have you maybe not spoken to because you were ashamed of the way a conversation went and neither of you were able to reconcile and come to terms and find some middle ground? Then it's kind of affected your life. I know that those are 2 big things that shame can keep us from making changes and accepting that growth and forgiving, even ourselves. So write down those 5 things. I want you to write it all down. Let it out. You don't have to share it word for word, but again, share a little blurb. Let us know a little bit about you, maybe how you feel after releasing all of that. Now, before you really dive in though, I want us to walk through this meditation where some of these things may come up for you. Now, this meditation's a little bit different, actually quite a bit different than the meditation from this chakra CD that you can download. I have the free download information in the group page for the digital guided meditations, which is also a very educational version of the chakra educational tools. But in this one I'm going to use a little bit of a couple of adult words, and that's because we're usually all adults here on Facebook. And if not, maybe you can put your headphones on and relax away from the kids. It's time to let the shit go. And you know what? That was something I was really ashamed of. I grew up with a sailor mouth. It was something that I've used to express myself for a long time. And I'm freaking sick of it. Like, I'm sick of being ashamed of having to censor myself all the time because it's part of my communication. And I try really hard to be respectful and use proper language when needed. But sometimes you just gotta let that shit go. And that's what I'm doing here with all of you. So get comfortable. And I'm going to use the music from our meditation CD. But I'm just going to guide us. I'm going to guide us through a meditation. And here we go. In this meditation today, we're going to release trauma and shame that has been holding us back. I want you to take a nice, deep breath in, full of joy. And as you breathe out, I want you to just feel that joy spreading throughout your body. I want you to feel it in your solar plexus. You may even want to put a little hand on your belly so you can just feel this area. Releasing any tension in this area as you free yourself from the need of approval by others. As you take some more deep breaths, allow yourself to become more calm more confident, and enhance your ability to call upon your own inner resources. Breathing deeply through both nostrils, filling your lungs, and out. Exhaling deeply, any unwanted tension again from your torso. I want you to really take that moment and think about things that bring you shame. This may hit a trigger. I'm here to hold space. I want you to be able to work through it. Breathe in nice and deep as you think about all of the shame and guilt. And as you exhale deeply, let all of that shit go. All of it. And just smile. Just release that anger, that guilt, that shame. Just let that shit go. It's no longer important to you. It no longer needs to be a weight on your chest, in your gut, in your shoulders, in your jaw. Release tension. Just relax. Let all of the bullshit go. Balancing the solar plexus chakra provides a transformational power for your body. The solar plexus is the home to one of your most powerful and energetic areas, your sense of self, and the seat of your personality and your charisma. Allowing yourself time to work through this, it helps and shows a reflection through your relationships and how you handle situations. While breathing into this space, establish a healthy boundary. Remember, you can say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. And it's okay to forgive. Forgive yourself for that one time you said something that you didn't mean. Remember how it made you feel so you don't do it again. But don't be angry. Don't hold on to that weight. Let that shit go. Now I want you to take some time. I want you to visualize energy building inside of yourself that represents your personal power. It may be in a yellow and powerful, enlightening color. Your personal power here is your ability to carry out a task, complete an action, or even make something happen. When you feel drained or this area is unbalanced, you may feel that tension in your stomach. And when you do, take a deep breath in and out. And let it all go. I want you to say this with me. I'm no longer ashamed, and I'm no longer being held back by my past. I claim my personal power. I claim my personal power. say it out loud, you can say it in your mind, but as long as you say it loud and proud, however your internal spirit hears it, so it knows that you are activating this within yourself. Claim your personal power, release the shame. Another affirmation for you today is, my relationships with others are filled with courage, openness, and confidence. Say it with me. My relationship with others are filled with courage, openness, and confidence. Now for these last few moments, imagine that flame continuing to build within you. Hopefully through today's meditation, you've been able to feel a sense of confidence, a sense of passion, and a sense of relief to no longer hold that weight. Let's do one more nice deep breath in and out, releasing anything else you could possibly be holding in this moment, connecting here in the now. When you are ready, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and open your eyes. I'm really grateful that you have been here with me. It's been a little bit of a longer video. I'm so proud of you for showing up. I'm sorry if I offended anybody with my language, but I'm not going to be ashamed for it because it feels good to let that shit go. Okay. That being said, I need to hear from you. I want to know what's going on in your head. You're in day 3. You're processing a lot of things. You're feeling a lot of stuff. You're talking to people. You're making new friends. Hopefully you're connecting with your family and seeing how you can serve them as well. And I'm going to give you a bonus point. If you can share a photo of you being totally silly or just something that you might normally be ashamed of. Now, you don't have to get too ridiculous, but just maybe something you normally wouldn't feel comfortable, but now that you are seeing yourself in the new, fun, quirky self that you are, realizing we make mistakes and we're not always perfect in every photo, I want you to share something. And if you don't have a picture, maybe share a moment that made you feel silly and ashamed and you're ready to move on from. Because again, this is about connecting, making friends, changing the world, and just showing up for yourself and showing that you're making the effort to change and be the person that you know that you should be and can be. So remember that this is a safe space. Be kind to others. Comment on others' posts. Again, thank you all that are commenting on this video right here, right now, letting me know when you watched, that you participated, because you get a point. I'm still keeping track. There's some of you that have quite a few points. I've been thinking of adding a couple extra prizes because there's so many of you awesome high vibe humans out there that I want to reward for this work that you're doing. And if you are feeling called to continue this journey after these first 7 days of just introduction to chakras, remember that I'm doing the deeper 8-week really dive into the chakra challenge. This is actually a workshop. It won't be a challenge. It's a deep cleansing, balancing experience that we're going to hold space where you can actually talk back to me in a Zoom communication like video platform. If you want to know more information about that, contact me, let me know. Would love to share more. And again, just be open to change. You're going to be dealing with a lot of emotions. These are emotional centers in your body. It's what makes you you. We're going through this trauma together to realize we're not in it alone. So tomorrow we dive into the heart chakra. Stay tuned. We're going to be focusing on grief, so prepare your heart space to just be renewed and to understand things on a deeper level and to grow. So I'm grateful you've all just been here, and wow, again, the activity has just been so amazing. If you haven't left a comment yet anywhere, even if you don't care about the point system, please just let me know you were here. It helps motivate me and remind me that all of this is so worth it and so a part of the divine mission for all of us. So My heart is already so full and goes out to all of you. Tomorrow we hit that middle ground, and I just can't believe it. So until next time, stay awake, shine on always, and I'll see you in the group chat. Bye!
Thanks for shining on with us.